Native Russians arrive in the evening. I can't. Russian military men came to the yard twice, extremely aggressive. There are no legs. There is a hole in the side. I am bleeding. Help me, please. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go next, how to live, how to be. On the 24th in the morning, we are peasants. We get up early. We heard something rustling. Then we looked in the direction of Chuhuiv and saw the glow in the smoke. Then the television announced about the invasion, and everyone was shocked and did not know what to do, where to go. A lot of people came to our village from Kharkiv, from Chuhuiv, from everywhere. Because as well as all over Ukraine, they thought that it would be safer in the villages. But as it turned out, it was even more dangerous in the villages than in cities. In the cities, people died from explosions, and in the villages, they died when they encountered the liberators who entered our village as well. They came here on the 5th or 6th of March. It was scary when a person with a gun was walking towards you. Russian military men came to the yard twice. They came twice. And I saw how the store was robbed. An APC drove in, hooked the door up, as they say, and tore down it and took away all the products. I saw everything. In the evening, they came drunk with assault rifles. They came to the yard. They did not explain what they wanted. There were 4 children in the room, with mothers scared. The smaller ones were crying, and the elder were sitting. She just nervously squeezed her hand and was drawing. The eldest granddaughter was drawing without looking at them. They burst, fired here, cartridges or shells sprinkled out. They were mostly Russians drafted into the army from the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, who did not know properly what to do. Well, their headquarters was located here in the school building. In the evening, native Russians arrived, who, according to their conversations, were the people who had fought in Syria. They were extremely aggressive people. We didn't understand why they took him away. He was kept in the lobby of the school for a day. In the morning, they brought him outside, and he was standing. We saw that the posture was not typical for him. He is such an emotional person, but he stood like that, with his hands in front of him. And then we realized that his hands were tied. He was kept in the lobby of the school for a day. Well, Otto, the activists, and where the weapons were, and where the local policeman was. That was what they wanted. That's where they kept me. A military man was sitting here with an assault rifle. I was guarded as a great criminal. And then in the evening, they began to gather. I did not understand anything. They tied me up. I thought that they would take me with them, but at the last moment they untied me and said, "Grandpa, get out of here." What we saw after they had left was horror, just horror. It seemed that they had lived there for 4 months and did. I don't understand how they could make such a mess during 4 days. Children's toys were damaged in the classroom of primary school. It is not clear what for. They cut off the ears of soft toys. They cut off the sleeves of children's jumpers. It is not clear what for. They took the office equipment when they left. They took away all the laptops that we had at school. They took the computer away. Thanks God they stayed here only for 5 days. And it was not clear how, and it was not clear for what reasons, but they left slowly. On March 29, from the opposite neighboring villages, There was an attempt to enter the village and capture it. There was a short street counterfight, and then the village was fired mortar shells. 3 men died in our village that day, and 2 men were seriously wounded. And then on March 30, a plane bombed the village of Mospanove. The helicopter buzzed, and an explosion. Wounded in the head. I can't. 3 rockets rushed at once. Everything was on fire at once. Everything. There to the cellar. I was in the house there. In that part, I was thrown out. I was wounded in the head. And then my blood was stopped, and thanks to Katya, I was taken to the hospital. They saw the smoke. Those boys who were nearby who lived there ran and began to put it out. They saw the smoke and ran. Was a person alive? They saw that he was wounded. I was calling. I barely got through. There was no mobile connection. There was no light. There was an injury to the head. There were fragments of glass. Wounds were visible on his face. The blood was already congealed. Mom, he said. I'm lying near the toilet, he said. There are no legs, a hole in the side. I am bleeding. Help me, please. I said, how can I help you, son? I can't get to you in any way, I said. I am not able to come. I am wounded too. The blood is going down the leg and into the groin. Well, our mayor of our village, Ivan Alexandrovich, who I called, got in the car and drove. Rockets were flying, but he was driving. They took him, brought him here, and stopped. I wanted to come to him, but I didn't manage to. Romka was not delivered. Romka passed away. And on July 19, my husband was killed in the yard. The missile hit. Oh, I came, I saw. What a horror. What a pain. I don't have a house, as they say. Where should I go? How to repair it? What should I do? I do not know. I don't know how to go on, how to live, how to be. Ten houses were destroyed very seriously. Nowadays, we have 208 residential buildings in which people live. Well, 72 houses were damaged because of the destruction of windows and roofs. There was a hit here. Seeds were left, sunflower seeds, and they were burning for almost a month. They were burning. Here was such a huge puddle. There is still such a smell, stench, the smell of burning as you pass by, or even drive by. And you can still smell such stench nowadays. There was a direct hit to the window. It hit, knocked the plate off the ceiling, and landed on the ground floor here. On the second floor, the high school students studied. There were 3 classrooms. One was a study of foreign literature, and then there were 2 rooms of primary school. That was a new Ukrainian school, which was equipped with everything. With multimedia projectors, with laptops, with everything, with new modern furniture. There were 3 classrooms here. They merged into one classroom. You can see where the fire was. The soldiers extinguished our school and didn't allow it to burn down. After a direct hit under shelling, under explosions, they were running, carrying water, putting out the fire. There were explosions and shelling. Our soldiers of the armed forces wrote on the blackboard, the theme of the lesson. You will burn here and in hell for our children. It was written on September 6th, and on September 7th, the Rashists were already chased away from Kharkovo. We didn't have them at that time. Kharkovo, Ivanivka, Balaklia, the neighboring villages were already freed.